Hey guys, it's Leanna, senior editor of Game Informer magazine. plug. I wanted to do another quick little video, and also hi, thank you for all the love on my last video. You guys are freaking awesome. I appreciate you guys letting me geek out and just nerd out and have fun. I love talking to you guys, listening to you guys. I'm really bad about responding. I have like the attention span of a goldfish. I will see a notification, but I'll be in the middle of work or something, and I'll be like, I'll respond to that here soon, and then in my head, it's already filed away as done, like I've already responded, so please don't take it personally. I read everything. I really appreciate all the feedback, all the comments, all the love. You guys are great. But I wanted to do a video because a very common, you know, obviously anybody in the gaming space, any industry really, I mean, assholes are kind of everywhere, but the gaming industry kind of has a unique brand of assholes because we are in the entertainment industry, therefore we are meant to be public figures, which is a big reason why I eventually want to go developer side. I want to be able to enjoy my job and not have to live quite so publicly. Anytime I'm going through something big, trolls will come by and you know, say something artful, and sometimes I'll, you know, if it's a little bit too much, I'll be like, hey, you don't have to like me. I would really appreciate it. Like, this is not the time. This is really bad time. You're a public figure. You need to deal with it. And while yes, that is true, I wish people learned empathy or relearned empathy. I know that's always been a problem, but I definitely know that work from home orders have increased that because many of us have gone over a year without any kind of social interaction, and therefore the safety of the internet and hiding behind a profile picture is even more alluring because you haven't had to engage with people on a social level in a long time. But I wanted to talk because today I got a comment. I wrote a silly little article about the body pillows that Mass Effect and Dragon Age offer. BioWare recently restarted their store. They closed it down when it was through Geek, and they brought it back, I think last year. And then they've slowly but surely like started filtering up the stock a little bit, including Garrus and Tally body pillows, which, yes, I got them. I have no shame. And it was just a burner article. I started writing at 6 a.m. because I couldn't sleep and anxiety was just kind of getting to me, and I would rather channel that into productivity. And, you know, I wrote like 12 articles, so I was like, this is going to be one that I'm going to, just a burner article that I'm just going to have fun with. Let me have fun with it because you guys know how much I love me some BioWare. And just one person was, this is why gaming journalists are trash. You're the worst of the industry. I hope you fucking die. Why did I waste my time reading this? As if I held a gun to their head to read it. And it was just a big paragraph of why I'm everything wrong with Game Informer. And I get those a lot. Like, one person actually sends me an email every single day from an anonymous email account. So I can't reply and I can't block them because it's through a VPN. Just telling me that I'm the worst thing that ever happened to Game Informer, and thanks for ruining the best thing that I've ever had in my life. Go kill yourself every single day like clockwork. And it was interesting because I forget sometimes people have notifications turned on for me. So if I comment anything on Twitter or Facebook, people automatically get a notification. So it's why I've stopped kind of engaging a lot, because one, I don't want to bring trolls to my friends, and two, I don't want to bring my friends to trolls, and because you never know what somebody's going through, and I don't want a bunch of people dogpiling on a person that I don't know for no reason other than they don't know how to regulate themselves, which isn't our issue. It's not our problem. And I said something along the lines of, I hope, it sounds like you're having kind of a bad day. Whatever it is, I hope it gets better for you. I don't take what you said personally. And that just really seemed to piss this person off. They said I was gaslighting them. I think a lot of people know what gaslighting means, because gaslighting is a very serious thing. I've been gaslit many a times, from previous boyfriends and girlfriends to bosses. It's not a good feeling, and it makes you kind of feel crazy. But there's a difference between genuinely trying to connect with you as a human and gaslighting. And I'm noticing a lot more people are starting to forget what it means to be human, so much so that just trying to remain polite despite the insults you're throwing at somebody, that's suddenly gaslighting. That's how out of touch with reality we are. And then they mentioned that as a public figure, which I'm not, I'm really not. It's a weird thing to say. They're acting like I'm this big, huge thing. I'm not. I'm not anything. And that's okay. I don't want to be a big person. It's never interested me. It's not something I actively pursue. For anybody that follows me, I definitely appreciate it. But I'm not demanding that, nor do I think I'm owed that. And they were saying as a public figure, I need to be better at taking critique. And that prompted this video, which took 5 minutes to just talk about the point of this video. Surely in a fashion, y'all. But it really wanted me to get and dive into this of critiqued first feedback versus insults. And because this is something I see as a writer, writing gaming news, writing gaming features. I'm not even creating these games, and I'm getting a lot of the abuse that developers get because they're kind of shooting the messenger type thing. And I've noticed that the people that say the vilest shit, rape threats, death threats. I had one person that used to just consistently send me pictures of dead mutilated women, or like they used to send me Bundy's victims, saying that that's what they wanted to do to me, and that was like gross sexual assault, beheading, like really grotesque murders. And then if you attempt to, God forbid, respond, they tell you to take critique. That's not critique. So I just wanted to do this small video to explain to anybody that's watching that may be a troll, which I've got a pretty cool community surrounding me, so like I don't think this applies to any of you guys, but maybe you know somebody this would apply to. There is a way to critique something in a not hateful way, and if you don't know how to do that, not as a personal issue, which we all have those, we're all human beings evolving and learning to grow, but the first step of correcting it is acknowledging it that it's there. I know that's a cliche, but it's true, and then working from there. What is not critique is insulting people, threatening people, saying something with the intent to devalue. Critique is, I have my love for BioWare, and I went on a lengthy tirade about Anthem. Anthem actually had a really cool story. It was the in-game content, to me at least, but the in-game content is where it completely dropped off. It has some of the best flight mechanics in games too, like holy shit. They really treated it like an afterthought after the main game completed, which you can't do with a live service game, especially one that you leave the main campaign off of this just dramatic drop, and not even a cliffhanger, just drop. And you didn't have any of the seasonal content that you promised to make it make sense and feel cohesive. That's feedback. That's critique. Bungie, when they were still under Activision, I ripped that studio a new one from locking tiered weaponry and gear and loot, seasonal gear that has stats, that God roll items being locked behind a paywall. I ripped them to shreds for that, respectfully. I backed it with facts, I backed it with numbers, and I backed it with data, and I backed it with a track record of what they did with the first Destiny. That's critique, that's feedback. Telling the developer, fuck you for making me pay this, which nobody's making you do anything, by the way. Fuck you for making me play this. I hope you go fucking die. That's insulting. That's a threat. The Dragon Age 2 developer, I'm not going to say her name, she ended up leaving the gaming industry altogether because she got so many bad threats that people were actually going after her infant child. That's not critique. That's not feedback. That's nothing. That's no statement made with the intent to make something better or to raise awareness. Critique, feedback is intent to change. Intent to make something that is seen as a negative and turn it into a positive. It is also the intent of education and working towards a common goal, not at the current state. Insulting is the art of debasing, and it really is an art because you have to be out of your mind to think that it's okay to talk to people like that. Even people I can't stand, like people that just really grind my gears, I could never imagine insulting them to that extent or threatening them. And I will say, when I first kind of started building a follower with Twitter, it was really overwhelming and I didn't know what I was supposed to do. So I got, in my confusion, I just kind of threw myself all in and became really reactive. And thankfully that's been about a year since I've done that. I've really reflected on how I am acting and is it true to who I am? And when I realized I was being much more reactive than I would in real life, and I was like, okay, I want to be myself. I don't want to be anybody else. So I don't need to be anything on social media. I can be what I want to be. It's my social media. It is not, it's evolving into a platform, and I do use it for good. To raise a ton of money for charity, raise issues when they're there. Have very valuable discussions on mental health. I do use it, but that's not the sole purpose. The sole purpose is to make shit posts and shitty memes and jokes that are probably way inappropriate. And that's okay. It's mine. And I want that, because it's mine, I want it to reflect me. And that's what we have to do as people. We have to look at our own behavior and really analyze, are we living our best selves? Because yeah, you may get some, I don't understand it, but you must get some kind of a high off of acting that way to a stranger. These people are making burner accounts for the sole purpose of doing this. So there must be some kind of gratification that I'm just not understanding. But know that that's short-lived. And when you're on your deathbed, you're not gonna be like, yeah, I showed that SJW that one time in the comments where she didn't even respond. She just blocked me. She didn't want to deal with me. I showed that hoe. You know what I mean? Like, go in your life and act with intent. Every single thing you do has purpose. Everything you do reflects upon you, Everything you do reflects upon your goals. Everything you do reflects upon your upbringing, your past, your history, your growth. So why wouldn't you want to represent yourself in the most authentic way? And if insulting and threatening is your authentic self, then I very much urge you to get therapy, because that is not going to lead to good things for you. You're not going to have healthy work relationships. You're not going to have healthy personal relationships, and you're ultimately going to have a very unfulfilling life, because you're basing your value and your enjoyment off of hurting people, and hurting people with a very small window of reaction, and then it's forgotten and poof in the wind, and it's like it never happened. That's what you're basing your entire life enjoyment on. Look at that. It's not worth it, bro. But yeah, that's there's a difference when you're attacking somebody, and I see this with my developer friends all the time. If you're attacking a developer, if you're attacking anybody, and they're telling you, I feel attacked, don't tell them they're wrong. And you know what? There may be a shift in perception. There's many times where I thought somebody was mad at me, or they thought I was mad at them, but we talked it out and we clarified that miscommunication. So if somebody is telling you, I feel like you're attacking me, or I feel like this is taking it too far, or something, there's annotate that they are very uncomfortable with the situation currently, instead of knee-jerking and be like, fuck you, pal, let me show you all the ways you're wrong, okay? Take a step back, don't respond, absorb it, and actually look at your behavior. A great example for this, and hi, I know you're watching, is there was a person that started, I noticed maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, really started engaging with me on social media. And I didn't know this person. And so the fact that they were engaging so much was kind of a red flag a little bit. But more than that is that they were always correcting me on things that they weren't correct about correcting me with. Or they were either indirectly insulting me or insulting friends in the industry. This is a very small industry. Everybody talks. Everybody. So if you're coming in and you're attacking one or all of us, and I hate that because it sounds like a clique, and there are some cliques, but there's cliques everywhere, and I typically tend to try to avoid that and separate myself from that, because that's not an accurate reflection of who I am. But there's these anyways, so it kind of became notorious. Like everybody, Polygon, Kotaku, everybody kind of knew this person by name, because just the comments they would leave on Kotaku or Polygon or Game Informer. Like, we are people, most writers, if they're full-time staff, have access to the socials that they are writing from. It's a community involvement. We're very much part-time community managers, so we're all seeing it, and we remember that. And there would be times where I'm like, respectfully, you're coming into basically my home. This is my digital space, my home, the one I carved out for myself with the intent of making it a place for myself, hence my social media. And you're insulting me a lot, and you're really kind of insulting my intelligence too, that I don't know my field, when your information you're trying to correct me with is wrong. It's factually wrong. And then I looked at his profile just one day because I was very curious, and I realized, like, oh, this person is trying to get into the industry. So he's like, there's like this subconscious need to feel like he's better than us, so he doesn't have to confront the fear of possibly failing. It was pretty easy to figure that out. It was also pretty easy just to see that he was kind of chasing that rush a little bit. And he made a joke or something. I mentioned I was leaving a previous job where I was working as a producer, and I used to work with Prima Games and things like that. And he made a joke of like, oh, how do I get that gig? And I was like, you know what? I can, I know you're joking, but I'm happy to answer this question realistically, but I would love to do it in DM, because I've got some feedback that I don't know you're going to react well to. And then I didn't say, let me tell you how to be, because you don't ever tell somebody how to be. Even if you can't stand how they're being, you can attempt to educate, but if they're closed off and don't want to hear it, and they don't know you, so they don't care enough to want to hear it, you have to respect that and protect your space and just move on. You can't change the people around you. Life is unfair. That's how it is. We can do our part to try to make it better, but there's a difference between trying to affect change and trying to be a totalitarian. And he really surprised me. He was like, yeah, I'll hear anything. And I told him, I was like, dude, we all see what you're saying. This is an industry you're wanting to get in. This is a very small industry. You are coming off very rude. Is that what the image you want to project? And I can promise you, if you ever do land a job interview, they're gonna know you, and they're gonna have a face to a name, and that impression is gonna stick even more. Here's what I recommend you do. And I actually did a video about this a while ago, about how to get into the industry. And he took that feedback, and I saw an immediate change. And the way he was interacting with myself and fellow writers and fellow developers, say that because I do have a developer, I saw the change, and I saw him putting the work in to be better. And now he's working on an Xbox project with a really cool person in this industry, a very big person in this industry. You get what you want when you put the work into it. That is the difference between self-actualization and just thinking you know everything. And that is also the distinction of critique, feedback versus insults. If you're not even willing to admit that you don't have that feedback, or that you don't know what feedback is, or you don't know how to give feedback without being insulting, you're never going to be better, and it's only going to hurt you. So that is my spiel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. You can hear my dogs walking up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm going to have another video here shortly. Somebody wanted me to talk about Dragon Age Inquisition, so we're going to be taking that on because it's going to be really cool. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.